everyone, this is Riya Tandok. So, for class 7 social studies, today we will do the exercise of chapter number 7 of history, that is social change in tribal and nomadic communities. In the exercises, first of all, we will do fill in the blanks. First one is in India, indigenous tribes are known as dash. So, in India, indigenous tribes are known as Adivasis. Next, the Dash are a native tribe of the Nilgiris who believe in the goddess Gangamna and Hithite. So it is Badagas. Next, Adivasi societies believe in the dash of all their members. So Adivasis believe in the equality of all their members. Next, the dash worked as transporters of the Mughal armies. So the Banjaras worked as transporters of the Mughal armies. Next, the Gondi language belongs to the Dash family. It belonged to Dravidian family. Next, the Ahom chronicles are called Dash. The Ahom chronicles are known as Buranjis. Right? Next, true or false? First one is Vedic culture placed all Adivasis in a separate caste? Yes, true, as they placed all Adivasis in a separate caste. Next, the Gonds were a prominent tribe of South India? False. The Gonds were a prominent tribe of Central India. Next, Adivasi societies are usually egalitarian. True. Adivasis are usually egalitarian as they believe in the equality of all the members in the tribe. Next, many tribes were nomadic at first. True. Most of the tribes were nomadic at first. Next, Adivasi culture had no influence on the rest of the society. This is false, as Adivasis have a lot of influence on non tribal communities as well. Next, elephants were an important source of wealth for the Gond kingdom. True. They were one of the most important source of wealth for the Gond kingdoms. Next, answer in brief. First one is name any one prominent tribe each of northern, southern, eastern and western India. So for this answer come to page number 77. On page number 77 of the north are given, like the tribes of the north are Gujars, Kokhars, Bhattis. Then the tribes of western India were Bhils. Then the tribes of eastern were Ahoms. In south there was Badagas, right? So as per me you can write the Gujars in the north, the Bhils in the west, the Badagas in the south and the Ahoms in the east, right? You can write Gujars in north, Bhils in west, Badagas in south and the Ahoms in east. Now, question number 2 is how did the Banjaras help the Mughals? So, for this answer, come to page number 79. On page number 79, under the heading Nomadic Cultures, second paragraph, third line, the answer will start from here. During medieval times, the Banjaras transported grains from the villages for sale in the towns and cities. They also worked as transporters for the Mughal armies. They carried their provisions and arms, setting up camp on the outskirts of army encampments. So, this was your answer number 2. Number 3 is give 2 examples from different fields for the influence of tribal culture on larger society. For this answer, come to page number 80. So, for answer number 3, the first example will start from here under the heading Adivasi's contribution to non tribal culture. It will start from here. First one, Ayurveda draws heavily on the extensive knowledge tribal people had of plants and their medicinal uses. This is first example. Second example is from here. Their agriculture practices of crop rotation, musical instruments like the bansuri and dhol, art, language, and seasonal celebrations all found their way into non tribal society. Right? So, this was the second example of answer number 3. Now, question number 4 is Write a short note on Rani Durgavati. For this answer, come to page number 81. So we will write this answer in point. First point will start from here. The Gaunt queen Durgavati was a Chandela princess who married a Gaunt prince Dal Padsha. This is first point. Second point will start immediately after it. When Dal Padsha died, cut the word, cut these words in 1550. You can just write when Dal Pasha died, as her son was too young, Durgavati ruled the Gad Mandal kingdom on his behalf. This is second point. Third point you can start from here. Akbar defeated and annexed Malwa. Malwa had been a buffer state between the might of the Mughal Empire and Durgavati's kingdom. This is third point. Fourth point will start immediately. The Mughal now turned their might against Gad Mandal. Then in 1564, Rani Durgavati died in the battle defending her kingdom against the Mughals. Right? So these are the 4 points of answer number 4. Now question number 5 is write a short note on the religious beliefs and food habit of the Gonds. For this answer, come to page number 82. On page number 82, before Parsa pen, you have to write few words. You have to write Gaunt people used to believe in, please write before Parsa pen, Gaunt people used to believe in. So the Gaunt, it will read as the Gaunt people used to believe in Parsa pen, a family deity. Continuing the same point, you can start from here. The Gaunts believe in a supreme deity, a high god Baradio, and each god clan had its own Parsapen. Right? Now the second point will start from here. The main food the main food of the Gaunts was two variety of millet called kudo and kutki. Rice was an item of luxury and reserved for special days. Right till here. So these were the religious beliefs and food habits of Gonds. This was our answer number 5. Now question number 6 is mention the prominent battles between the Mughals and the Ahoms. For this answer, come to page number 83. So for answer number 6, first we will write the introductory statement from here. The Ahoms were involved in several battles with the Mughals. This is the introductory statement. Then the first point will start from here. The Mughals first attacked the Ahoms in 1615 CE. They were repeatedly defeated. This is first point. After this, in 1662 CE, Mir Jumla, the Mughal viceroy of Bengal under Aurangzeb, led an expedition against the Ahoms. This is second point. Now third point from here. In 1671, the Ahoms, led by Commander-in-Chief Lachit Barphukan, defeated the Mughals at the Battle of Saraighat. This is third point. Fourth point will start from here. The final conflict between the two powers took place at the Battle of Itakhuli in 1682 CE. Right? So this is your answer number 6. Now answer in detail. First one is how and why were Adivasis cut off from non-tribal society in Vedic India? What effects did this have on tribal society? For this answer, come to page number 76. On page number 76, our answer will start under the heading Adivasis and Vedic culture, and we'll write from here. With the spread of Vedic culture across the Indian subcontinent, society came to be divided into varnas or caste. The Adivasis were seen and treated as people outside the caste system. Though there was trade between the Adivasis and the non-tribal society, any form of social and cultural exchange was discouraged. Discouraged. For thousands of years, cut the word therefore. So it will read as for thousands of years, the Adivasis lived cut off from the rest of the society. Their secluded lives led to the preservation of their social, religious, and cultural practices. Right? So this is answer number 1, answer in detail. Question number 2 is why is it difficult to trace the histories of most Adivasi people? For this answer, come to page number 76. On page number 76, under the heading Sources of Tribal History, answer will start from here. Generally, Adivasis did not record their history in the written form. Instead, the tribal people had a rich oral tradition where stories and beliefs were handed down orally from generation to generation with no written record. Historians and scholars found it difficult to be certain about the tribal origins. Right? So, this is your answer number 2, answer in detail. So, students, before moving further, here I want to clear that sometimes the question is given under answer in detail, but sometimes their answer is not so long, right? And at time it also happens that some question is given under answer in brief and they have written write a short note, but we have to write 4 or 5 points. So don't worry, the questions which will come in your exams will be based upon the length of the answers, right? So if there are short answers it will be asked for less marks, and if there are long answer it will be asked for more marks, right? On this note, the next question is question number 3. It says, give an account of the general nature of the tribal society. So, for this answer, we have to refer to page number 77 as well as 78. For answer number 3, under the heading Tribal Nature of the Tribal Societies, the answer will start from here. Tribal people come from vastly different backgrounds. However, there are some deep beliefs and practices which characterize most tribal people. And then we have to come to next page. Point we can write that their lives are closely interwoven with nature, or we instead of there we can write the life of tribal people are closely interwoven with nature. In next point we can write they believe in sharing all resources equally among all members. Next point we can write the tribal societies are usually egalitarian. The next, ties of kingship or family relationships are very strong among members of a tribe, right? So in this way you can write any 5 points out of the given points. Now next, question number 4 is, what were the different lifestyles settled and nomadic followed by various tribes? Expand on the history of the Banjara tribe. So for this answer come to page number 79. So for answer number 4, we have to start from here. First point, in most tribes led a nomadic existence. They were hunter gatherers. Some tribes moved on to shifting cultivation or jhum cultivation. This is first point. After that, you can write from here. In the course of time, some tribes settled down in permanent settlements and took to settled cultivation of crops. This is second point. Third point will start from here. Several tribes like the Nodas and the several tribes like the Todas and the Ahirs were pastoralists. Fourth point will start from here. Many tribal people were also gifted artists. Their finely crafted handicraft, colored embroidery, and sturdy pottery found a ready market in the non tribal areas. Right? So, this is the first half of your answer. For the second half of your answer, you will start from here. The Banjaras were cattle herders originally from Rajasthan. A single tribe could own as many as 50,000 to 60,000 heads of cattle. After that, we will repeat the same answer which we have written for answer number 2, answer in brief, right? So, for the second part of the answer, we'll write from the Banjaras till of army encampments till here, right? So, this was your answer number 4, answer in detail. Now, next, question number 5. Trace how the Gonds established their kingdoms in central India. What were the relationships of the Gonds with their neighboring kingdoms? For this answer, come to the case study which is given on page number 81. For the first part of answer number 5, we will write from here first the territory from here. Second paragraph, second line, the territory of the Gonds lay at the crossroads of the major trade routes linking the various parts of India. The Gonds thus controlled the routes linking the markets and religious centers of India. This gave them power and wealth. This is first part, right? Second part will write from here. They are mainly found in central India, in Madhya Pradesh, eastern Maharashtra, northern Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, and Chhattisgarh. Right? After this, we'll write from here. Once they became powerful, the Gonds entered into matrimonial alliances with the Chandelas and other Rajput clans. The Gond queen Durgavati was a Chandela princess who married a Gond prince Dal Pacha. Till here. Till here it is answer number 5, answered in detail. Question number 6 is write a summary on the society and culture of the Ahoms. For this answer, come to the case study of Ahoms, which is given on page number 83. We will write this answer in points under the heading Society, Religion, and Culture. First point will start from here. The Ahoms had brought with them Thai culture, beliefs, and other practices to Assam. This is first point. Second point will start immediately. They possessed a rich treasure of literature written in the ancient Thai script. This is second point. Third point, immediately. At first, the Ahoms speak the Thai language and followed their traditional religion. Over time, cut the word however, over time the Assamese language was adopted as the official language of the state. This is third point. And fourth point will start from here. The rulers and the Raj Mantris or senior ministers started following Hinduism. The rest of the people, however, continued to worship tribal gods. Right? So these are the 4 points of answer number 6, answered in detail. On this note, we have completed the answer in details. Next, multiple choice questions. First one says, in India, we call the people whose ancestors were the original settlers of the land as nomads, aborigines, indigenous people, or Adivasis. So, in India, we call the people whose ancestors were the original settlers as Adivasis. Next, what is the main source of information that historians use to study about tribal people? So, as we know, there was no written information about the tribal people. They used to rely on oral tradition. So, here the correct option is C. Oral traditions handed down within the tribe from one generation to generation. Next, third one, it says one of the largest tribe of western India during medieval time was the Bhil. So here the correct option is D. Fourth one is the Badaga tribe can be found in the Badagas tribe are found in the Nilgiris. So correct option is B. Next, which of these do not reflect the nature of the tribal society? Do not reflect. Options given are tribal people live lives closely interwoven with the nature they live. The position of the tribal leader is usually hereditary. No, this is not a feature or not nature of the tribal society. So your correct option is B. Next, jhoom refers to, so jhoom is a form of shifting cultivation. So here correct option is A, shifting cultivation. Next, during medieval times, the Banjaras helped the Mughals by transporting the arms and provisions of the Mughal army. So here the correct option is B. Next, eighth one is, this is an interesting one. What were the contributions of Adivasis to non-tribal culture? And it says more than one of the choices could be correct. So, what were the contributions of Adivasis to non tribal people? Let's read the options. Ancestor worship and the worship of fertility god and goddess, their knowledge of plants and their medicinal uses, the caste system, and knowledge of musical instruments like the flute and the drum. So, here three options are correct. A1 is correct, B1 is correct, and also the D1 is correct. So, which is not correct? C1 is not correct. All A, B, D options are correct. Right? Next. Which of these was not a Gaunt kingdom? Not a Gaunt kingdom. So Chandela was not a Gaunt kingdom, right? Next, Durgavati, the Gaunt queen, died fighting the armies of which Mughal emperor? Options: Humayun, Shahjahan, or Aurangzeb, or none of the above. So here correct option is none of the above, as Durgavati, the Gaunt queen, died fighting the armies of Akbar. So Akbar option is not given. So here is none of the above. Next, 11th, who was the Ahom leader who established an Ahom kingdom in Assam? It was he was Sun Hung Mung, right? Next, 12th, who led the Ahoms to victory over the Mughals in 1671? He was Lachit Barpkan. So here correct option is A. So students, I hope the video was helpful to you. Also, if you're looking forward to more videos, do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. In that case, you will receive a notification whenever a video is being uploaded on the channel. Okay, thank you for watching.